GSL Super Tournament Season 2. ...2018 GSL Super Tournament Season 2.
Welcome back to the GSL Super Tournament. We're halfway through today's games. FanTaSy versus Classic is coming up. And Artosis, tell us about FanTaSy a little bit, because this guy is very important in StarCraft history overall.
Yes, absolutely. So FanTaSy comes down from basically the line of Terrans ever in the whole world, right? So it goes Slayer's Boxer, kind of the guy he took under his wing. Slayer's Boxer, a Bonjour, by the way, the original Bonjour in StarCraft 1, the original dominator of StarCraft 1. He took under his wing I Love Uv, who became another Bonjour, another dominator of StarCraft 1.
Way in the very beginning.
Yes. And then I Love Uv took FanTaSy under his wing.
Yes.
At the prime of StarCraft 1 history, right, before StarCraft 2 came out, FanTaSy was the second best Terran in the entire world.
That's right.
And the top ranks were pretty littered with Terrans at that point. So it's like really only Flash was outdoing him. FanTaSy, absolutely one of the best StarCraft 1 players ever. And here's what's very, very interesting. Okay, first off, these two played Brood War at the same time. Classic was actually a Terran player as well, but never had any sort of success compared to FanTaSy. So for FanTaSy, this is what really gets me and really excites me about FanTaSy, right? StarCraft 1 has had a sick resurgence in Korea.
Yeah,
like
it's huge right now.
It's much bigger than StarCraft 2, and you make, unless you're, I mean, the top winners in StarCraft 2 obviously make a ton of money. You know, they're winning tournaments and cash. Like, look at Maru, how much money he's won this year. It's crazy. But FanTaSy is such a legend from StarCraft 1. He's out of the military now. I think everyone assumed he would just go to StarCraft 1. It's kind of the popular thing to do right now in Korea as a Korean pro gamers, to play that. You stream and you make really solid money from that, right? There's tournaments popping up all over the place. But he chose StarCraft 2 instead. And this is the only person that we've seen make that move, where it was a top-end StarCraft 1 guy, and he's like, no, I would prefer to play StarCraft 2, actually.
Yeah.
So that's, and the thing is, his StarCraft 2 career, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't doing that well. So he's like, screw it, I'm going to the Army, right? But here he's come out and he's decided StarCraft 2 is the game for him. And I wonder what you think about that.
Well, I mean, when you got guys like Rain and Sulky switching back to StarCraft 1, it's cool to see a guy who could do StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, he goes and picks StarCraft 2.
Yeah. It is really cool. And you know what? I think that this game fits his style more than Brood War.
I think so.
Because this guy, he was known as the terrorist Terran, because he would just kill your workers all game. He's a very multitasking, harass-oriented Terran player.
But he's going up against Classic, one of the greatest Protosses in all of Legacy of the Void. Let's see what happens.
GSL Super Tournament Season 2. Round of 16. Match 7.
Had some new sounds that time.
Yeah. Where'd that come from?
Dead Pixels FanTaSy.
He eliminated innovation to get here. Also trust. That's part of the reason why innovation won't be a BlizzCon is that man.
That's right.
Gosu Crew Classic.
So yeah. You know, to speak about this style and why part of the reason I think that, you know, you said you agree on FanTaSy style. He was such a technical player of StarCraft 1. He was not a macro-based player, like Flash was the macro Terran. And FanTaSy, this is a guy that would get like a smattering of different technical units and do harassments, right? He'd run around, he'd kill probes or SCVs or drones, things like that. He'd hit these abstract timings where he's like, you know, he might get a Wraith out and like hunt overlords. He really wasn't known for macro. If he on games where his macro, where he hit it, he looked like the best Terran in the world because of how much harassment he did. But it's really hard to do all that at once. But yeah, the way that StarCraft 2 Terran plays, it's actually much more active and better being played active than StarCraft 1 Terran is.
Yeah, StarCraft 1 Terran was, you had to basically stay back. You had to be defensive a lot of times.
Yeah.
And once you got enough units, you could really come out swinging and do a lot of damage. But, you know, you were always at the whims of an aggressive player. You had to be able to hold off anything.
Yeah.
But I think, you're right. StarCraft 2, I think it really does, StarCraft 2 Terran really does suit FanTaSy a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm just going to say this because, you know, Maro is by far the most dominant player in Korea right now. Maro has been proxying a lot, and with these other Terran players, we're not seeing them do it. They're not actually switching.
Yeah.
They're not copying.
Only TY is really
Sensei
copying
Maro, yeah.
Yeah.
Maru Senpai.
Although he's younger than basically all the other Terrans.
Notice me, Maru Senpai.
Yes. And the thing is, it seems like that might even be somewhat up the alley of FanTaSy. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see what type of style he's using here. Obviously, he's in really good shape to have beaten Innovation and Trust to get here. He's been playing a couple qualifiers now. His first big event back.
Okay, the Adept is coming up. Kind of a bumpy little start there. Looks like the Adept should be able to get away. Really good control here by Classic. Goodbye. Oh, no. Oh, but he's going to get covered. Leave him alone.
Yeah, Cyclone on the way. It looks like Classic going into 3 gates rather quickly here.
Yeah,
with
that, maybe 2, yeah, with that blink. Keeping this pressure on here. He's got to be careful because when the Cyclone comes out, the damage was so fast with that.
Yeah.
But damn, look at Classic just getting right in FanTaSy's face just to start things off.
Yeah, he's actually doing pretty immense damage with very few units here. So not going super well for FanTaSy right now.
Okay, but again, as I said before, when that Cyclone's out, you basically have to run for it. So you basically can keep away from that just barely without it ever catching up to you. But the Blink's going to be interesting. He could definitely do a lot of damage with this.
Yeah, he's getting that Robo as well.
It's weird to say this, guys, but FanTaSy is actually so much more experienced than Classic is as a pro gamer.
Yeah.
And I know people, you know, there are probably people screaming at their monitors going, no. Yes. This guy's been so good for so long in StarCraft 1. He was a great StarCraft 2 player. He did go to the military and come back. But, you know, we were talking about this earlier. A lot of times, if you feel like you're much better than a player, the best way to approach it is to start attacking them early on. To make them respond, to show them that you're in control of the game.
Yeah. But, you know, Classic, this guy, I guess, hadn't hit his stride yet. He was actually the #1 draft pick once in StarCraft 1. So definitely like a Terran that had a lot of potential. But here in StarCraft 2, obviously he's done way, way more than FanTaSy. Like, FanTaSy hit some GSLs and stuff back when he was playing.
Oh, is he going to get to trap the Cyclone?
Yeah, looks like it.
Look at this, perfectly done. Not literally losing anything other than shields. Oh my god.
And now he has Blink, so...
He's like, what about my 4 Marine drop?
Well, this is the FanTaSy multitasking, right? He had a Cyclone out. He's trying to land a Viking and get something done. It looks like that's going to die.
He's got Blink, so he should be able to get the Viking. There's also Hellions coming in over here. 4 probes killed so far.
Hey, you know what? 7 probes? Not too bad. Not too bad.
But keep in mind, a counterattack could completely flip the game.
Now he's got a 3 Marine drop coming up, Tasis.
Yeah.
So he delayed the 3rd base a little bit, I think, and killed some probes.
Oh, wow, okay. So the Stalker's taking a little bit of damage. Again, this tiny little drop, I think a Warpin should be able to take care of it. There's just 1 Marine inside that bunker.
Yeah, he's got to keep the pressure on Classic right now, and he is doing that.
I'm sorry, where's the Warp Prism?
He does not have a Warp Prism yet. It just finished.
No, he's got it.
It just finished.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So it's like on its way right now. Uh-oh.
This is one thing you can do with bunkers, just run right by.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he does. This is going to be something FanTaSy's very used to from Brood War.
Yes. Okay, well, now the Marines are out of the bunker.
He's got a siege tank out now. Like, FanTaSy's not going to die from this.
Yes, but of course, even with a siege tank out, he could even maybe try to go behind the minerals.
Yeah, he can keep up some pressure. It's okay to lose a Stalker or 2 here, I think, too. 14 kills, so, you know.
But what about that 3 Marine drop, Artosis?
Not doing too much yet. Oh,
and
look at this.
He's going for Disruptors. Cool.
And Speed Warp Prism. That is neat. Oh, you know what? Yeah, Blink Disruptor. If you go Blink Disruptor, you kind of You can use speed warp prisms to do like Zealot harassment at the same time. It's something that we saw, I believe it was Root Hero doing this quite a bit, and I really like that. I think it's a cool style.
Okay, here comes that warp prism now. And again, I mean, Terran can hold these attacks, but not in multiple places at once. And look at this. Once again, the Stalkers just run by. This is going to be more SCV kills. The moment the army comes over here, immediately the warp prism picks up and runs out.
Not quite going to get that shot off, unfortunately. But these Stalkers, really, they are doing a lot here at the natural. Wow, he can even take out that Widow Mine if he wants in the main base.
Okay, good pickup. He runs right back out.
And now with speed done, Disruptors on the way. Classic definitely in control.
Do you feel like this, if you see the speed that you know they're making Disruptors?
Generally, this is the only build where you use Speed Prism against Terran right now. And this is actually not even very common. Like, we haven't seen this done since, I think it was Season 2 we saw Hero doing this year. So the thing is, you see plenty of blink upgrades into Disruptors just because it's, you know, it's quite strong. But to have the Speed Prism too is, it's not that expensive. I think everyone should do it.
Oh my god, that control was great.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nice hit.
Classic is so good. Do you think he might just break him here? It's starting to look like it.
It's
two badly wounded tanks.
I think that breaking him here isn't even the right choice. I think that as Classic, you just kind of keep playing like you're playing. He's just gaining a bigger and bigger edge.
Nicely done. I thought he was actually going to get more kills there. Somehow it's only 3.
And 2 depots.
That's true.
All right, so FanTaSy holding on, but he hasn't been able to do any harassment for quite some time now. And that doesn't really behoove him in the way he plays. He needs to be out there mixing it up.
Oh, but if he comes in here and sees that a lot of that army is not there, he's gonna pull the trigger.
God.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Disruptor's not even firing just yet.
Oh. Saves 2 Marauders. A blink forward here will finish off some of those. Gosh, FanTaSy just has so little.
Yeah, well, Classic's been a beast this game.
Yeah.
Now, there's a drop coming across the map. I can't imagine that this drop's going to do that much. Certainly not enough to match what
with
Classic's
that
already done. Yeah, with that units. With that units,
with
man.
That units,
with
man.
That units. Was that Shakespeare who first said that? With that units,
He
man.
might have.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Now, I don't know. Let's wrap it up, Classic. Let's go into game 2 here.
Yeah.
This guy is done.
Well, there's a certain thing called FanTaSy GG timing. FanTaSy doesn't leave games when he's dead.
True.
He stays
That
in
is true,
forever microing. He's kind of like Marine King like that.
The question is, will he float the buildings like Marine King did?
He might. There's definitely a distinct possibility that can happen. FanTaSy does not like to give up, though.
Okay, some more connects here. I think we are at the tipping point. This is it. GG! Classic takes game 1.
Okay. Well, it was kind of cool to see this style that FanTaSy tried to bring there. He was doing like a triple-pronged harassment at one point. Didn't hit it all perfectly, and Classic's defense was super good. Definitely, it feels like a bit of a mismatch as well, because this is the type of matchup that I think that FanTaSy's going to have the hardest time with.
I agree.
And Classic, historically, has been our strongest PvT player of the last 2 years.
Yeah, he's a real Terran killer. His weak matchup has been against Zerg, so
yes,
had he not been weak against Zerg, he would have been...
He probably would have won multiple tournaments. Multiple tournaments this year. Oh, yeah, and last year probably as well. Like, he's been top to top 3 Protoss pretty much nonstop. But yeah, that Zerg matchup.
Parasite lead. Hey, remember that game, Parasite Eve?
No.
Moving on. FanTaSy versus Classic. Game number 2 is loading up. Again, FanTaSy, a Brood War legend, a StarCraft 2 god. He was in the military doing his compulsory Korean military service. He's back. Here to try to prove himself in the
GSL SuperTournament. Season 2.
Round 16.
Match
7. Wow.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. He's serious now about winning.
These other Terrans have had it. They've seen Maro's success. Remember the Brady Bunch movie? It's like Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. It's like Maru, Maru, Maru.
Yeah, it is very much
He's
like
getting
that.
all the fame by just proxying. I can do that too.
Oh my gosh. Are we serious here?
No.
They're going to run into each other. And it looks like Classic wants to proxy gate.
Oh, I think you guys should pull away on the ramp.
You gotta be kidding me. Let's look at Fantasy's face.
Fantasy's like, my life is a lie.
Yeah, actually, he doesn't really react.
I can't believe that happened.
Well, believe it, Tasteless, because it happened. Well,
Fantasy was basically trying to do a magic trick, and then an 8-year-old kid came out and said, you have a bird hiding in your jacket, and he frowned and he opened up his jacket and the bird was dead. It's just like, oh, not only did your magic trick get exposed, but you killed the bird.
Rough.
Yep.
Well, Classic opening up with an advantage in this game. Anytime you find a proxy sending your probe before the gateway, it's just like, how heartbreaking for the Terran is that?
Well, it's funny because when Mario does it, it never gets spotted, but when everybody else does it, that does go to show you that there's something to where you proxy, how you proxy,
Yeah.
who you proxy,
Definitely who you proxy.
when you proxy.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the correct answer. So just going to go into a Reaper expand, it looks like. The Cybernetic score before Nexus for Classic.
Now,
just to mention.
Fantasy, like, in theory, is not really that behind that it's the proxy was scouted. What's annoying about this is that whatever he had practiced and prepared for this map, he's not going to get to do. He has to do some backup build.
Yeah.
That's why it's a big deal.
Could just go into a regular game from here. Not entirely sure yet. The very quick Adept. I think that there's a reason that Classic is playing like this right now. Getting the early units out very, very quickly. Because he went for the Cybernetic score right before the Nexus. He really kind of out-microed Fantasy in that early game last time. Remember the single Adept and Stalker, how much damage they did?
Yeah. Okay, here comes that Reaper now.
Unable to really do much, but he did see the Twilight. So that's actually a pretty darn good scout.
Yeah, that Twilight kind of unfortunately placed there. Oh, is he going to get the SCV? That is big.
I'm interested to see where he wants to go against that Twilight, because we've seen, like, for instance,
Artosis.
yeah,
You know, okay, okay, Artosis.
Oh my God, there's already damage SCV in
What am
here
I
too.
seeing here? What are they doing? They're like, well, we'll wait. We'll wait.
Is it? What? This thing has killed 5. Are we watching a PvP? Is this a PvP? He killed 5 SCVs with
it's not gonna
one
end there, man.
Adept. One Adept. Oh my God.
And he's chased away the SCV that's over there. Blink is coming down. Wow. Classic making this look like a mismatch.
Yeah, he really is. I'm so looking forward to this match, Tasteless. I need Fantasy to start pulling this back a bit. To be fair, you know, all these guys have been playing non-stop for quite a while. Fantasy is just back.
Cool Fusion Core coming down here.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
I'm ready.
You know what? Okay, so here's a thought, right? He scouts the quick Twilight, so he knows that you're not going Stargate at all. Right?
Yeah.
After Twilight, you always go into Robo. You're never like, well, I have Blink now. I need Phoenixes. No, that doesn't happen. So maybe he's just going to do like a Liberator range rush and just stop mining everywhere.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean,
That's cool.
Blink will not save you in that situation.
And this is the type of thing that you would expect Fantasy to do from the old Brood War days, right? You were joking on the commercial. He's like, yeah, we're going to see if he can beat him with like one Valkyrie, one Vulture, and a Wraith or something. Like,
that's what I was saying.
That's the type of player he is.
Units come in and he dies, but...
Well, all these Protoss units consist of an Adept.
Yeah. Yeah, and a Stalker later on. Well, let's see if he can start doing the damage right away. I mean, a lot of this will come down to who can initiate first, because both these guys have some pretty deadly attacks they can pull off based off the tech choices they're going for. Double Forge here, by the way, from Classic.
Yeah.
Cool.
But none of this stops Range Liberator, does it?
No, it does not, my friend.
You know, if Range Liberators get into a position this early on, here's the tricky part, right? You're spending so much money getting these out, you have nothing else. So there's a possibility Classic can counter him. But if you're not mining from like 2 bases and then you have to make a Stargate, and then you have to make a Phoenix.
Yeah.
By the way, the Phoenix takes forever to kill a Liberator, and then it has to kill multiple Liberators. The amount of mining time that you lose is gigantic.
Okay, here comes that Liberator now. It's going to try to slip behind the main.
You just got to make sure not to lose it before the range is done.
Okay, it looks like it should be... Oh, wait. Ah! He didn't blink. He didn't do it.
Yep. Oh. Get back there, FanTaSy. God. Killing me. Boop. Okay, another Liberator coming out.
Yeah.
Range is almost done.
Okay,
Here we
guys.
go.
Yeah, when the range is done, there's just not a lot that Classic can do based off the build that he picked. Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. I keep turning to see if FanTaSy's going to be frowning or shaking his head.
He's got
he just
a poker
doesn't.
face.
Hey, look, now the Stargate gets started. Look at that. He's denying a sick amount of mining.
4 patches.
Yeah. And then the other probes sometimes switch patches over.
I think there's a weird angle where one of those probes can actually... Well, they can mine from the patch at an angle, I believe.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Could be.
But I think when it goes back for the second round, it gets hit. That bottom patch there.
Well, it's unfortunate he doesn't have a second Liberator in position because he would really be hiccuping the economy at that point. But this isn't that bad for Classic, especially considering he's got his 2 Forges and he's got Blink done.
Okay, nicely done. Takes out some of these Marines. He'll probably have to either get out or go around that tank range. But, you know, Terran's locked in. The Phoenix is coming out. Now, I think FanTaSy's going to try again with that Liberator, which I think is the right move.
Yeah, you got to.
You really should have come from this angle the first time, though, with that second Liberator. I mean, the amount of mining that you delay is so crazy.
True. It's so true. I think that he's actually sniffed this out, though.
Yeah. A lot of clean water on this map.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Big lily pads, too.
Yeah. No frogs, though.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow, yeah. It just perfectly fits. Huh.
He's figured out all the little nooks and crannies on this map.
But this is not going to last too long. The Phoenix is coming up. Poof. All right.
2-2 is on the way right now for Classic.
Now, the third base is going to be landed over here. Oh, that was really nice.
Oh, my God.
Classic is so good. He's going to have... Look at that. FanTaSy has to move the CC. Classic is such a beast with his harass.
Yeah. Doesn't overcommit here. Their command center does live. You know, FanTaSy, he's getting a pretty reasonable army. It's just the main problem that I see here is that, you know, you can have a nice army as Terran, and then you're fighting against 2-2 Protoss with 1-1.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go well.
No. Upgrades can make or break the game sometimes. I think Classic's going to try to lean in here. Do a lot of damage.
Almost 9 minutes in, only Liberator range done for FanTaSy.
That Liberator range is not working out well. Oh, wow, and he's going to leave, and I think this might allow Classic to just come in here and walk right in and start doing damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of charge lots. Oh, my gosh. Still kind of waiting for that 2-2. I wonder if this could force a recall. If he could force a recall, that's probably the best case scenario, right?
Yeah, well, I don't think Classic is aware that FanTaSy left. It's one of those weird moments where it looks crazy to us, but yeah, he just walked out. So he's going to try to come in here. Now,
he's countering.
He's going to attack in. I think he's actually not going to recall, at least not yet.
Or maybe do a bit of damage, then recall.
Yeah.
Well, this is getting into a base trade right now.
Yeah.
Going to pick off that command center immediately.
I'm not clear on what is here for defense or Classic. I guess he says...
Almost nothing. I think he's actually just going to recall to the main or the third.
Yeah. Well, there's more to kill here for FanTaSy than there is for Classic. So, yeah, as he takes that out, he's going to leave a chunk of that army there. The recalled army, of course, can easily drive that back out.
Yeah.
Then where do you go from here? I mean, you're Terran on one command center.
Oh, yeah, against 3 Nexuses still.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so rough.
Anything that Protoss lost can easily be remade. Psystorm's about to finish. Ah.
FanTaSy is truly getting bashed in this series so far.
Yeah.
This is very, very one-sided. But, you know, this guy is a legendary player. I think You give him another year or so, and maybe we see him start competing with all these guys.
No, I don't think what we're seeing here is indicative of what kind of player he's going to be down the road. I mean, he did just come back. He's active again. That's really great. But no, so far this is not his series. Now maybe we'll see something a little bit better here in Game 3. But I just based on how Game 1 and Game 2 are going to go. And by the way, FanTaSy, I mean 99% should just lose this game. There's no way.
There's no way.
There's no way.
He doesn't even have 2-2 started. He's got half the army supply. He's got 1 command center against 3 Nexuses. It's just 0% to win.
Okay. He's trying, though.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of heart.
His heart.
He's got heart.
He's trying.
He's got heart. But eventually, no matter how much you kite, you will have that Protoss army. Yeah, they will get you. No matter how long you wait in that liberation zone, that Phoenix will kill you. Mm-hmm. No matter how many times you drop, the Warpins will stop you.
Yeah. Well,
feels bad, man.
FanTaSy GG timing.
All right, FanTaSy. You make for some good TV end games. All right, GG. There it is. Classic looking surprised, like, what? I won? Yes, he did. 2-0 so far, but it's a best of 5, everybody.
That's right. He needs one more.
Hopefully FanTaSy can bring those games that we've seen before.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe he can mix it up a little bit. Maybe he needs to get a cheese on. He did try to proxy at the beginning of that game, and it got found immediately, so that definitely hiccuped him, forced him into a game that he was not prepared for on that map.
Okay, we now go to Game 3. Hopefully not the last for these two. I don't want these series to wind up too fast, you know? But right now, man, FanTaSy has met his match here with Classic. And Classic's a pretty tough opponent to go up against, no matter how legendary you are in RTS.
Absolutely.
Classic is, right now, in the era of Classic. You know, we've seen Classic 2.0 just recently because he was so strong earlier on. He fell off a little bit. He reinvented his style. He's here. Let's see what FanTaSy still has in his briefcase of Gosu builds. Game 3, FanTaSy Classic, here at the, say it with me, GSL SuperTournament, Season 2, round of 16.
Match 7.
Match 7,
Game
set
3.
3.
Yeah, set
apparently.
3.
All right. Proxy time.
Now, will Classic find it, guys? Remember, in the last game, it's easy to forget, but in the last game, FanTaSy wanted to do a proxy, and Classic just saw it right away and stopped it.
Yes.
Why are you smiling at me, or too?
Well, you're just... I really appreciate you because, as you mentioned, it's hard. It's easy to forget. It's hard to remember that happened in the last game, but it did happen.
It did.
Will it happen again?
It's recorded. If you don't believe me, you go back.
Yeah.
And then you can write me that apology tweet.
Yeah.
You're going to feel so stupid after you go back. Now, when Classic comes in here to scout, all right, some Classic support here.
Hey, Best Honeymoon, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. Now, you see, when Protoss scouts you, and they see that there's no barracks there, I just want to unpack the power of proxies right now in the later half of 2018 here. Mm-hmm. Just because you scout it doesn't mean you know what proxy it is. Maru's shown everybody, he's shown the world that there's a lot of different ways you can proxy, a lot of different strats you can do. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's not just what proxy, it's where.
Yeah.
How committed are you?
This is far away.
Yes.
What he's making here.
Oh my God!
Probe's starting to look, but
gonna find it anyways.
It is going to take a little bit for him to rally. He's getting a reactor, so maybe reactor Cyclone.
Dude, he's going to find it.
Yeah, he is.
You're kidding me.
But you know, you find it. That doesn't necessarily mean that you hold.
No, but it's much better than just not finding it at all.
Yeah, I guess I can go with that. I
think we can.
I'm on board for that one. Yeah.
I mean, it's another bad start here.
Well, if that SCV dies...
no, he's going to finish it. He's got this.
Okay.
So Stargate is the play here for Classic.
Mm-hmm. Probably just sit there and go Phoenixes, hold the top of his ramp for a little bit, and get counter-harassment done with that, as well as lifting up Cyclones.
Like this little cheeky starport right there.
Nice. All of his buildings outside of his base. You gotta watch out.
Got the wall in here.
2 units going across, man. Remember what one adept did to him when he had units?
Wait until you've got 2. Can he get the SCV maybe? Nah. Looks like RNG's on his side.
Is it though?
Get it!
Oh, it does.
Hey, it was dead. How did it finish? I know that animation takes a second, right? Okay. Another barracks out here?
What?
Come on.
What? Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. All of his buildings out there.
Oh boy.
Do we have the next Maru here?
Okay, maybe a little bit too cautious there. Okay.
Okay, well,
I'm not really sure what I saw just happened just there.
Yeah.
Now the Cyclone.
Oh my God, the Oracle's just going to kill everything.
Well, I mean,
Get
he does
in
have
there!
Oh man. And that's enough kills, you know?
Yeah, 5 kills, and he will get out, of course. He gets flanked by something.
Oh yeah, there's stalkers hitting where the factory is.
Oh my God, there's a siege tank there.
He sees the second barracks.
That's pretty good. All right,
I've used this metaphor before, but I mean, he basically slipped on the banana peel and, you know, stepped on the rake, hit his nose, and then he sat on the bench that it had wet paint on it. I mean, everything is...
You know, he's making a really strong unit composition, though. If you're playing against, you know, like a bunch of stalkers and you're going siege tank marine, there's still a possibility for FanTaSy to take this game, for sure. But Classic has so much information.
Depot outside the base, he's mad.
Well, he's got way more outside the base, so I think what we have to say
he needs to lift that command center and just fly over here. He'll have a whole new base ready to go.
This is his base.
Yeah.
Is this thing on the right-hand side?
This main here is a proxy main.
Yeah, that main, that's just like a hidden expansion, basically, is what that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, FanTaSy scouted it. Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Well, better off not having anything on the ground right now. And these SCVs are ripe for the picking. Okay, well, he can go move that command center down now to his new base.
Yeah. Should have done that a long time ago. Would have been cool if Classic breaks in through the 3 depots and there's not a command center there.
Yeah. The ultimate FanTaSy strat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well most of the units are over there. I guess he can recall.
You can pray.
Oh, God, that
Surprise!
Stasis Ward is so good. Are you kidding me?
Oh, boy. And it actually perfectly blocks the ramp, which just buys more time. So he can recall.
Recall all his units. This is still scary from FanTaSy.
Yeah, I mean, FanTaSy Classic has to be careful. I mean, he can't. But I think, you know, the amount of time that he's going to have to warp in.
Yeah, this is way too many units, right?
Let's hope FanTaSy can pull this off. I would love that. Okay, adepts are coming down now. Okay, hitting from everywhere. And as these oracles come in, we will see FanTaSy tap out.
Yeah.
With
it's just about that.
2 letters. Well, 1 letter. Just 2 times.
Hold on, Tasis. He's still got units.
Okay, the Vikings are landing.
Yeah.
What can he do?
Stalkers.
The satisfying moment where Vikings are picked up by medevacs.
Man, the 3 slow Zealots walking in really ruining his day, though.
Yep.
This is just stalkers. He would have done much better.
GG.
2 of 23 supply. I think it was time for the GG.
Yes.
When you have only a medevac, it becomes very difficult to take that down.
Damn, that was just brutal.
That was brutal.
Oh, FanTaSy. He'll be back. He'll be back. One of the greatest RTS players of all time, but this tournament, not his.
No. It was a tough first-round matchup, I think, as well. Of course, you guys are familiar with each other from Brood War.
Okay, well, guys, we're not done yet. There's one more best of 5, and hopefully it's closer than that one we just saw. We have 7 spots filled in here. The last spot is going to go to Creator TY. We'll be going to that after this short break. Do not go away.